It's the height of summer at Redhill Aerodrome, right next to London Gatwick Airport in England. This is my 1977 Piper Turbo Arrow 3, and I'm taking it on a short flight to Hampshire today. In this video, we'll enjoy the sights of Sussex together. You'll see me struggle in the circuit at Lyon Solent due to the weather.
The cloud base is at around 600 feet downwind, Golf Victor.
And I'll share an experience I was lucky enough to have thanks to the generosity of a very kind flying reporter follower.
So that was good fun.
Clear prop.
Redhill traffic, Golf Bravo Mike India Victor, Piper Arrow parked opposite the tower, taxiing to holding point Alpha 1. Redhill traffic. Okay, let's go to the runway. Now, the airfield's closed. We're before their actual opening hours, so we're having to make traffic calls on the Redhill frequency, having to squawk 7012, which is a different squawk, and monitor Gatwick, which I've got on box 2. And I've obviously had to get permission from the airfield manager to do this. We're checking the runway. We had a good look earlier. It looks clear, and we've got to be off by 8:15. We've got 3 minutes. Redhill traffic, Golf India Victor, Piper Arrow, taking off runway 25 left. Redhill traffic. Airspeed's increasing, temperatures and pressures are in the green. Keeping the nose wheel off as much as we can. We're airborne, nearly hit a crow. Tap the brakes, gear up. Temperatures and pressures are in the green. Power's good. Safe height, safe speed, and flaps coming up. I always love flying in the early morning. Not so much traffic about, and lots of smooth air. You don't usually get the bumps unless it's windy. So here's what happened. I did some work for a client. They happened to be a viewer of the Flying Reporter YouTube channel, and I completed the work to my usual good standard. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, but that's that. The client was thrilled to bits with the work that I did for them. And then they said, we really appreciate what you've done. You've done a great job. That's amazing. I sent you a little gift. Hope you don't mind. I was expecting maybe, I don't know, 4-pack of Carling or Carlsberg or something. I don't know. And next minute, this pops into my inbox. And they've only gone and bought me a 75-minute flight in a Spitfire from Biggin Hill. I mean, wow. I was shocked, actually, really shocked, because I know the value of that. And if you don't know, look it up. It's a very, very expensive gift. In fact, I felt as if I was not worthy of such a gift. I thought, there's no way that I can accept this. There's no way at any time in my life, I think, that I would be able to afford such an amazing experience as that. So that's the story behind how I got to fly the Spitfire. No doubt you want to have a look. And when I say fly a Spitfire, of course, I don't mean, well, I did fly it for a little bit, but I didn't fly it, if you're with me. We had a go at the controls. But anyway, here's the video of my Spitfire flight.
Okay, good to go. All right, mate. Have a good flight. Thank you. Right. Seat up, please, jump.
So as you can see, I boarded the Spitfire. I'd been given a video briefing, a safety briefing, which included all the bailout drills. I'm wearing gloves and a flight suit for protection. My friends are in a chase plane, which is going to come alongside us when we get down to the south coast, and I'm hoping they will be able to take some great air-to-air video as we fly past. Now, I've been in warbirds before. I was lucky enough to have some training in a Harvard, so the experience of being strapped into this formidable machine was not unusual to me, not alien to me anyway. although I suspect if you haven't been in a Spitfire or a Harvard or anything like it before, it would probably be a bit overwhelming. Now, one of the first things I noticed when we taxied down to the runway was the exhaust fumes, actually. The cockpit isn't exactly airtight, and as we sat waiting at the threshold for runway 03, it did get a bit much as there wasn't the airflow to carry the fumes away, and as we sat there, some of it leaked in through the gaps. But before long we were thundering down the runway, and the natural airflow helped clear everything away. Now, I look a bit glum there, and I don't really know why I looked like that. I can promise you that I was smiling on the inside. In fact, there's a smile. I think part of it was actually that I didn't feel worthy of this experience, as I said before, and maybe felt a bit embarrassed by that. Also, maybe it was a sense of being slightly overwhelmed as well. As I say, I know I've been in a Warbird cockpit before, but, you know, we're in a Spitfire here. You know, the vibrations, the noise, the environment, the smells can be a bit overwhelming. I'm really gutted actually that I didn't prepare to film this flight, otherwise I might have talked to the Heritage Hangar about recording the cockpit audio. The cameras that are on board are those from the Biggin Hill Heritage Hangar themselves. They film the flights for their passengers as a matter of course. The reason why I didn't make any plans to film the flight myself actually was because I wasn't entirely sure that I would be sharing this trip here on YouTube, since it might have given the impression that I must be very rich to have such a unique experience. But on reflection, looking back at the footage, I thought you might be interested to see that and see how it went. Now, I'm smiling there because I've just been told we're going to do some barrel rolls. I think you would describe that as my brave face. I'm not the bravest though when it comes to theme park rides and the like, so I wasn't entirely sure how this would be. But have a watch and see how I get on. As you can see, I'm smiling, I'm enjoying it. It was a very smooth, graceful manoeuvre actually. I'd like to thank Vertigo Covers for sponsoring this episode of The Flying Reporter. Vertigo has actually produced Spitfire covers, and they can almost certainly make some for your aircraft. Vertigo uses the latest lightweight, waterproof materials and modern designs. They're a British company based near Lyon Solent, where I'm headed to today actually. Get in touch with Vertigo for a quote for your set of covers. I'm sure you'll be pleasantly surprised by the price. So the Spitfire pilot and the pilot of the chase plane made arrangements in advance to rendezvous at a pre-agreed point. They were communicating with each other on a discrete company frequency. The Spitfire pilot crept up from below and then held station in a close echelon left position. Now, I know I've flown in formation before, but never this close, and I actually found it quite unnerving. Sitting in the back, not being in control, I was conscious every time there was movement and just couldn't take my eyes off the chase plane's wing, as if by doing so I was somehow helping. I think it's probably more enjoyable this for non-pilots, or maybe experienced formation pilots, but for me, who's only flown in formation properly once before, and knowing how hard that was, I just couldn't relax. But it's always nice, isn't it, to see aircraft up close and in the air, and the view of the Spitfire from the chase plane was fantastic, as you can see. So eventually we broke off the formation and started making our way back to Biggin Hill, and I was able to handle the controls a little bit too, which was fantastic. Unfortunately, the Spitfire camera ran out of juice, and so there wasn't much left to watch, but here was my reaction when back on the ground. So that was good fun. I was just kind of saying that for me, flying is about the journey, the adventure, the friends, the places we go to see, less about the machines. But of course, the Spitfire is iconic. And I was not sure whether I would be, how overwhelmed I'd be being here. But it is great fun, really great fun. And was able to fly a little bit, and very, very sensitive on the controls. Of course, I was gripping the controls for dear life as I would. So a really pleasurable experience, and many thanks to my follower for that really generous gift and for allowing me to have such a wonderful opportunity.
Farnborough Radar Golf Bravo, Mike India Victor, request basic service.
So it's back to something more sedate and ordinary again, the trusty PA-28.
Mike India Victor, Farnborough, good morning, pass message.
Good morning to you, Golf Bravo Mike India Victor, PA-28, Piper Arrow, Red Hill to Leon Solent, 8 miles northeast of Mayfield, altitude 2,200 feet, QNH 1018 VFR, request a basic service.
Golf India Victor, squawk 1730, basic service, London QNH 1017.
Squawk 1730, QNH 1017, basic service, Golf India Victor. It's quite nice going slowly for a change rather than bombing along. Everything seems to slow down. More opportunity to kind of look out the window and see the world go by. I don't know if you can see that, the South Downs, just there, a little ridge. That's going to be New Haven, I think, down there, is it? No, that's Brighton down there. That's the city of Brighton and Hove. Oh, it's so still. It's just beautiful. It's such a pleasure flying. When it's as silky smooth as this, it's just wonderful. If it weren't for the engine noise, it would be like you're gliding. The plane is literally flying itself. It's trimmed out. That's the River Ada snaking down to Shoreham. And there's Shoreham Airfield just off to the west of it. I bomb around so much these days that sometimes it's you need to be reminded of how pleasurable flying is. Sometimes so much on a schedule that just don't have the time to enjoy it. The south coast of England is beautiful, actually. If you've never gone along the south coast, it's a lovely, one of the most beautiful places to fly. The terrain is not as interesting as, like Northumberland and the Scottish coastlines. But usually it's a bit sunnier down here. The weather's a bit nicer.
As you can see, there's a bit of low cloud hanging around, but it hadn't really been a concern to me. But as you'll see in a minute, it turned out to cause a bit of a problem joining the circuit at Leon Solent. I'm meeting up with a friend at Leon Solent, and we're going to a meeting together. He's travelling down from a different airfield in an SR-22. He's first to call up on the frequency, but is slightly behind me.
Information November 41 Kilo Bravo is inbound, currently 4 miles east of Rye, and looking for joining information.
November 41 Kilo Bravo, looking information. Good morning, we're operating 23 with a right-hand circuit, QNH 1018.
23 the right-hand circuit, QNH 1018. I believe there's another aircraft also inbound to your call in a minute. I will give way to him and hold over the Isle of Wight until he's joined.
Yeah, roger, thank you.
That's very gentlemanly of you. It's Golf Bravo Mike India Victor. We're 5 miles to the southeast, just a smidge ahead of the Cirrus. And I understand 23 right-hand circuit, QNH 1018.
Golf India Victor, read back correct for the details. Report downwind for 23.
Wilco, Golf India Victor.
So I descend down to circuit height, and I'm planning to join downwind for runway 23. What you might not immediately be able to see from the cameras is that there's low cloud over the airfield. It's difficult from this distance to judge the height of the cloud, so I continue to make my way inbound. As I get nearer, I have to descend further because the clouds are at about 600 to 700 feet. Now, I was pretty sure I could make it around the circuit like this. We practice what's called bad weather circuits, and they're usually done at this height, so it's not a big drama. But it is going to be important that I remain inside of the airfield. Normally, for that reason, we would fly a bad weather circuit a little closer to the airfield, no further than a mile out. but Leon Solent has some pretty strict noise abatement rules and some vociferous neighbours who are quick to complain. Now obviously safety comes first, but I'm doing what I can here to be neighbourly.
Copy to Victor, right hand downwind runway 23 to land.
Copy, the Victor, Quebec 1017, report final for 23.
Report final for 23, Golf India Victor. And Kilo Bravo might consider the opposite runway. The cloud base is at around 600 feet downwind. Golf India Victor.
Roger. If possible, then once India Victor's landed, can we request straight in for 05?
November 41 Bravo, Roger. Surface wind is 250 degrees 4 knots. I'll let you know once India Victor has vacated a one-way.
Roger. We're going to hold at current position, which is just outside your OBD.
Roger.
There's next to no wind, so the opposite direction runway makes sense in this situation, and perhaps I should have abandoned my join and come in on 052, but everything is working out okay. Leon Solent had only just opened, so there had been no opportunity before now to know the weather conditions here. They don't have an ATIS or META either. I will have used Southampton's forecast for my planning. It was currently reporting scattered at 1500 feet, although lower bases of 900 feet were in the forecast.
Copy Victor, turning final runway 23 to land.
Copy, the Victor, runway 23, land discretion, surface wind 240 degrees 4 knots.
Landing, Copy Victor.
After all of that, it was probably one of my better landings actually. I did choose to land deeper into the runway so I could expedite my vacation for the opposite direction arrivals. Another aircraft was now asking to land on runway 05 due to the cloud. We have to make decisions all the time as pilots. It's probably one of the hardest things to manage because it's all about judgment and experience. Sometimes we make the right decision, other times perhaps it doesn't work out quite as hoped, but as long as we've always got options, then there is no harm done. Despite the slightly challenging weather for my arrival, this was a really pleasurable flight, and it's been a reminder to me that I should spend time every now and then throttling back, slowing down and enjoying the view. I hope you enjoyed riding along with me today. Thank you for watching. My thanks also to episode sponsor Vertigo Covers and channel supporter Anglian Flight Centres. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe button to show your appreciation, and I look forward to flying with you again soon. Until then, fly safely, my friends.